You got to see the guy behind this camera. Legit. Come here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Legit.
I spent years mastering sports videography at the highest levels, capturing motion, telling stories, creating cinematic moments. I even built this YouTube channel, the one that you're watching right now, to help others become sports videographers themselves. But recently, I made a decision that completely changed how I see the game. And honestly, how I see my career and this channel. So in this video, I'm breaking down that decision and where everything is headed next. Alright, so it all started a few weeks ago when my contact at Sony Canada reached out to let me know that she had a Sony a7 IV camera that I could use to make a review on my channel, which I obviously jumped at the opportunity. So yeah, I did have like a pre-production camera for a few days. I filmed a couple games with it, but typically when I make camera reviews on my channel, I stick to video because that's what I know, that's what I do. But this time, for whatever reason, I decided to touch on the photography side of the camera as well. So I did test a few features in photo mode, and to my surprise, like I had a lot of fun doing it. It was cool to do something kind of for the first time, because I'm not a photographer. Like I said, I spent years doing professional videography in sports, but I've never actually taken any photos. And even in my personal life, like if I go on vacation, I'll snap a few pics, obviously, with my phone, but I've never used like a mirrorless camera to take professional or just like high quality photos. It's just not what I do. And by doing it while I was reviewing the Sony a7 IV, it kind of brought me back to my early beginnings in videography, because I had to learn, like, it's obviously the same. You're still talking about aperture, you know, exposure, shutter speed, ISO, all that stuff, but it's a different recipe. You have to use these settings differently. So rediscovering, relearning how to do these things, how to manage the perfect recipe for the perfect photo. It was a lot of fun, actually. Like, it brought me back to the start of my videography career, and it was fun to discover, to do trial and errors, to learn new ways of approaching a sporting event. You know, just like knowing that I don't have the pressure of capturing all the action that led to a perfect goal or a touchdown or a dunk or whatever, like just focusing a little bit more on composition and angles, and not that I don't focus on these things when I'm videoing, but just look at it from a different perspective. And how can I tell a story with a single photo? Like, what can I do? Where can I go to make sure that just a snap tells a story? That was a new challenge that I never had before, and it was a lot of fun to jump on it and try to make the most of it. So from there, I realized that photography is actually pretty cool, and I want to do more of it. All that to say that I decided to buy a Sony a7 IV camera, and my plan is to do a lot more sports photography content on this channel from now on. And the fun part about it is that it's not like, usually when I do sports videography videos, I come from a place of authority. Like I'm showing you guys what I know, and I'm trying to teach you how to accomplish certain things. But now, like, this is going to be different. This is going to be me as a beginner trying to get better and taking you on that journey with me. I'm assuming that for beginners out there, it's going to be very interesting. For hybrid shooters, it's going to be very helpful. So I'm very excited about taking you guys on my journey into sports photography. I plan to do a lot more, like, it's not going to be strictly sports photography from now on. There's still going to be a majority of videography videos.
But I'm the cameraman. But I'm the cameraman. Stay creamy. Yeah, I started on a 50 mil lens. Now I'm about to bag 50 mil yen. I can shoot all day, I got stamina. Turtleneck on with my camera, yeah. Stay creamy, man, that's what they say. Shoes laced up and I came to play. Yeah, I'm first team, I'm a superstar. They call me cream, like Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, you had to face it, let's get back to basics. I'ma take the shot like it's a vaccination. I don't have the patience, I'ma shoot right now. Yeah, we undefeated and you gon' lose right now. Like click, 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 swish. I can switch it up anytime like this. I'm a videographer and I'm on the verse. So when I shoot my shot, I don't miss. I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot.
So yeah, all that to say that the potential of this journey being broadcasted on my YouTube channel is endless, because there's so many things that we can talk about. Obviously, the settings, the composition, like where to position myself to shoot certain sports, all these different things that are happening at the game, but also the whole world that happens after the game. Because if there's one thing I realized is that even though at that particular game where I took photos, I only spent probably 30% of my time snapping pics and 70% filming, I still ended up with over 1,000 pics. So I can't imagine how, if you're taking photos at an entire sporting event, you probably end up with 5,000, 6,000 photos. Like to go through all of that, pick your 50 to 100 best ones, and then edit those and send them. Like, how do people do that in less than 24 hours? Like, I want to go through that process, learn the best way to do it. Which brings me to the sponsor of this video, because going on a new journey like this, buying a new camera, this ain't cheap. So I talked with a company that was actually quite excited about my vision for this series, and was happy to join me and sponsor a few of those videos. So I'm collaborating with a company called Filter Pixel. What I like specifically about Filter Pixel is not only the fact that they believed in my idea and my journey, but they also have an app that I think is perfect for beginners in sports photography. Because first of all, their whole purpose is to streamline your workflow. So from the moment you're done taking photos to the moment you upload your photos to send them to clients or whatever, that whole process is streamlined through an app that can do it all. Basically, it can call all your photos, which is basically take your entire set of photos and bring it down to like the core group of really good photos that you want to keep. And then it takes these photos, allows you to edit them in the app in a very streamlined way. And then it can batch export as well. So I really liked that ecosystem, the way you can do it all in one place. And I also like the fact that when you import your photos in there, you can tell it, because basically there's other companies that do a similar thing, right? But what I liked about Filter Pixel specifically is that with the others, the way the AI rejects the bad photos is solely based on technicalities. So I like keeping the eyes open, being in focus, things like that. Where with Filter Pixel, it does all that, obviously, but there's also a creative aspect to it, where you tell it, is it a wedding, is it a concert, is it a sporting event? And based on that, it will pick photos that are best for that type of event. So it's really an app that is created for event photographers. And with sports, I think it's a great way to do the whole post-production side of photography. But I just want to mention that it's not going to be a series of videos about Filter Pixel. I want to talk also about, obviously, my settings when I'm shooting, all that sort of stuff. But I'm doing this kind of retroactively right now because I already shot those photos and I just bought my camera. So now that I do have the camera, I'll be able in my next videos to go through it with you guys, find out what the best settings are for different sports, and go out to those sports and take photos and see what's good, what's bad. We'll touch on all aspects of sports photography, but today we're going to focus on culling with Filter Pixel. All right, so as I previously touched on, the main purpose of Filter Pixel's culling feature is to cut your editing time in half. It does that using an AI-powered software that automatically reviews your photos, selects the best ones, and removes duplicates, blinks, blurry shots, and just overall bad pictures. The first thing you should do after opening the app for the first time is go to Preferences and pick your rating system. You can choose between a star rating, a color rating, or tags that literally say best, review, or reject. Personally, I like the colors. Green, yellow, and red is a pretty obvious system, so let's go with that. Then you can import your photos directly into Filter Pixel with a simple folder drag and drop, and the software will start analyzing your images right away. Meanwhile, you can change your project name and also select your type of shoot. As you can see, not only is there a sports option, but there's also more specific football and basketball options. So I can only imagine that there will be even more sports added to this list as the software gets improved. The next step is to pick between a basic or a deep cull. The basic cull will pick the best shot of each burst of photos based on technical mistakes, blinks, blur, things like that. And the deep cull will also do an event-specific culling, so in this case, a basketball-specific culling. We can also use the optional step of deciding exactly how many good photos we want to end up with. In this case, I have almost 2,000 pics, so let's aim for 50 photos with a deep cull. Deep culling does take a little while, depending on how many photos you have, of course. Obviously, I'm fast forwarding through it right now, but it did take about 11 minutes for roughly 1,800 photos. Alright, so now that it's done, you can see that we do have our 50 best photos ready to go. If you're in a hurry and trust Filter Pixel blindly, you could go straight to export, but if you want to double check the review rated photos to see if you're missing out on a few extra gems, all you need to do is select the review folder, and if you double click on any photo, the layout will change with a much bigger photo that you can double click on to zoom in 4x to confirm any details about focus or anything else. Keep in mind that what you're looking at is a low-res proxy file created by Filter Pixel, so it's not nearly as high quality as my original raw photo, but the quality is good enough to see the imperfections. Also, on the sidebar, you can see all the other shots from this photo burst, so if any of them feels like a keeper, all we need to do is to change the rating here at the bottom to green, and as we go back to our previous window, we should now have 51 good photos instead of 50. And that's basically how simple culling is with Filter Pixel. If you wanted to export without editing, or to edit in another platform like Lightroom for example, simply click on the export button at the bottom, then pick a photo editing software or the option to go straight to JPEG, and again, click export. Keep in mind that the photo editing software options you see here are the ones installed on my computer, so your options will obviously be what is installed on yours. But anyway, once everything is transferred to Lightroom in this case, we can see all 51 photos in a grid view or one by one and take it from here with some photo editing. I won't get into editing today because this video is already long enough, but make sure you subscribe to my channel if you are excited about the idea of more sports photography content in the future. Otherwise, thanks again to Filter Pixel for sponsoring this video, and a link to their website is available in the description below.